I want to just specify this video is not to spread hate to anybody. Okay, I see so many people just bashing Trudeau so much. It's like that's not really accomplishing much because all you're doing is just like hating on this guy. And that's not to say that I like Justin Trudeau, but I'm not gonna come on here and just like absolutely bash him like so many YouTubers do because that's really not accomplishing anything at the end of the day. Today we're taking a look at a video that I saw on my YouTube feed, which is talking about this mask that Justin Trudeau wears, and I guess a mask that all politicians wear to some degree, okay? The reason I would never want to be a politician is because you can't just be yourself, okay? You can't be yourself if you're a politician. You have to always put on this fake smile, this fake front, this fake mask. And this video is exposing how Justin Trudeau totally just fakes his entire identity, okay? He is not himself. He has this front that he puts on, this mask to try to make people like him, but in the end, it just comes off as inauthentic, and it makes people despise him because he has this like fake laugh, this fake persona. So we're gonna hop into this video again. This is not to spread hate, okay? As much as I maybe don't like Trudeau, I wish the best for him as a person. But we're gonna take a look at this. This is from a YouTuber named Martin Decoder. This video has gone pretty viral and popped up on my YouTube feed. So please share this video out, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and let's hop right into this.
Of his persona. In this video, we're gonna scratch beneath the surface and find out what Trudeau's language reveals about his personality and agenda, and why this is important for everyone. Like celebrities, politicians are constantly preoccupied with self-branding. The brand image is how the public actually perceives them, while the brand identity is how the politician wants to be perceived. Oftentimes, there's a huge difference between the two. A politician's interested in scoring high on 3 parameters: familiarity, that people know what the politician stands for; similarity, that people are able to identify themselves with the politician's causes, and more importantly, the words he uses to describe them; and likability, that the politician shows good qualities. This is why politicians talk to ordinary people and participate in normal activities when the cameras are rolling, usually with a big smile on their face, happy because of all the publicity they know they're getting from it. Let's take a closer look at Trudeau's probably most revealing interview. But before we do, if you liked the video, click the like button. And if you're interested in the hidden secrets of language, subscribe to the channel for more videos. Welcome aboard.
So, diversity. When I started asking for this interview 2 years ago, it was because I was at a dinner and heard you speaking about diversity.
Right from the beginning, it's important to note that the two of them presuppose a particular meaning of the buzzword diversity. That in order for there to be diversity, people have to look different, have to be born different. Thus, they're both focusing on outer characteristics, and as we'll see, they care much more about people's physical appearance than their inner characteristics, such as talent.
And heard you speaking about a cabinet that was equal men and women. Today it is gender balance, 17 women, 17 men. It was clearly intentional. Why did you do it?
Well, first of all, before you can get to a cabinet that is gender balanced, it took a number of years of work recruiting great women and convincing them to run for politics, which isn't easy as it is. So,
politicians are always interested in coming across as dedicated leaders fighting for what's right. Because they constantly advertise for themselves, we should be skeptical of their language. Here, we should be skeptical of 2 things. 1, the real reason for a photo like this, and 2, a word like convincing. Because who does this benefit? It benefits Trudeau. It makes him look like a frontrunner for social justice. Thus, the verb convince has self-serving motives and detracts from his claim to be fighting for the common good. Later on, this point is made painfully obvious.
but why do it was fundamental to governing well. When you have a broader group of people with different perspectives, with different backgrounds, with different stories, with different life experiences, you're actually much better able to solve different problems.
What Trudeau deliberately doesn't factor in is that people with similar backgrounds or the same innate characteristics can be very different from each other. This goes back to the presupposition in his popularized definition of diversity, that people have to be born different, and essentially then he places greater emphasis on this than qualification.
I hope I don't get copyrighted for this music in the background. But yeah, it's his cabinet is 17 men, 17 women, perfectly balanced so that he makes all the feminists out there happy. all the feminists see, oh, look at Trudeau's balancing the cabinet, so he has equal women in there too, and then they get happy. So he's doing that. He's not doing that because he truly believes in diversity. He's doing that to try to make people happy so that they'll like him more. Um, I don't know. That's just politics 101 though, I guess.
How many better alternatives is he willing to discard because he's preoccupied with people's physical appearance and what their name is? His definition of diversity exposes how he views people as groups rather than as individuals. Each group is expected to behave the same, believe the same, want the same. Groups are easier for politicians and media to upset and control because people have an innate desire to belong to something bigger, a group. Politicians and media bank on that. What Trudeau is deliberately overlooking is that personality is the most important factor when talking about diversity. It's not people's innate characteristics that make things better per se. It's that they, as individuals, possess job-relevant qualities and are talented at what they do, irrespective of their innate characteristics. Who would want to live in a world where essentially you're judged for what you were born as?
I can't control the numbers in Parliament. I can control the numbers in my cabinet, and modeling that leadership of making a determination that yes, it was 2015, we had to do that, was important.
We like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind, because it's more inclusive.
There we go. Exactly.
Shut up. And wasn't it Trudeau too changed the Canadian national anthem to "All of Us" command instead of "All of Thy Sons" command? Oh no! Every single time I'm somewhere where they're singing the anthem, it still throws me for a loop when they say "an all of us command." I'm like, I still hear it in my head as "all thy sons command." This seems like such a stupid thing to change for like no point. Like it's such a minor thing, but it just kind of makes me mad because like such like pandering to certain demographic. Um, so like, oh my gosh, there's still so many people. The people who don't like Justin Trudeau still sing "All Thy Sons," and I still sing it too in my head. Um, "All Thy Sons command" because it's just such a stupid change in my opinion. Um, I don't think anybody is actually out there asking for it either. Maybe a small group of people.
This kind of leadership, which has been popularized throughout the Western world by means of parroting and living in an echo chamber, has an inherent logical inconsistency that needs to be addressed, because why stop there? Why is this the end of diversity? If you want to insist on using the word balance, what about other balances that a person might feel strongly about? Such as a balance between workers who grew up in wealthy communities and workers who grew up in poor communities. According to this inconsistent ideology, people could make all sorts of demands, one more ridiculous than the other, and people like Trudeau wouldn't have a logically consistent reason for saying no, because people would be using his logic, which isn't about logic at all, but about numbers that look good on paper and sound good in interviews. This ideology is by definition insatiable. There's no end goal. It needs to be kept alive, because if it isn't, the privileges will end.
Can you give me an example of that, of what you've seen happen in the last few years because you brought in more women?
Well,
Unsurprisingly, Trudeau doesn't like this question and seeks to evade.
Look how uncomfortable he gets because he knows he has to put on this fake front. Like that's the thing, and this is something like I've been working on more a lot. This is something everybody works on to some degree. Like not everybody is always 100% authentic. There's always like some sort of fake front. Like even doing YouTube, like I'm like 90% myself on here, but of course I still got that 10% of me as like a fake, like not fake. I won't say fake, but it's like that front that you put on in front of other people. Everybody has that to some degree, and everybody's working on that. I'm working on that too. Like right now I'm not trying to be like over energetic because I'm kind of like I'm not feeling super over energetic, so I'm not gonna fake that. Right now I'm kind of in a chill mood. And that's something everybody works on to some degree is just like being themselves 100%. But you can see how nervous he gets because he knows that he's going to put on this fake image. And it's hard once you put on this fake image to maintain that fake image. And Trudeau, you could tell he's like in a mental decline because of how much effort he puts in to keep this fake front going 24/7.
What you've seen happen in the last few years because you brought in more women?
well,
Unsurprisingly, Trudeau doesn't like this
And
question.
I feel for the guy too. Like that'd be absolute hell. Like your job, millions of people absolutely bashing and criticizing you, and you have to like find a way to make everybody happy. Um, it would be horrible. So yeah, I don't like Justin Trudeau. but I could sympathize with that. That'd be a horrible job. Like, why would anybody ever want to be a politician? You know, I guess the only case is if like you absolutely 1000% believe in the change that you're making. But I even see in Polyev, like I see Polyev's putting on a bit of a front too. I kind of see through that in politicians now.
Question and seeks to evade it. It's unsurprising because he treats the issues that he promotes as slogans and nothing more than that, like the people who overuse the word humanity for self-promotion. Thus, giving specific examples is difficult, and giving specific examples that prove causation rather than just correlation is even more difficult. There are hundreds of independent variables which I'm quite sure he hasn't personally thought about, or at least that he would never disclose.
Well, when we talk about putting a gender lens on issues, where you actually think about the gender implications of it, take a pipeline, for example. You couldn't imagine that putting a gender lens on building a pipeline would actually be meaningful, except if you say, okay, you're building an infrastructure that's going through remote and rural areas, you're going to be descending a whole bunch of mostly male construction workers on it. There are going to be societal impacts in the small communities where they're. So can you make sure as you move forward on this decision that you're building in.
You can tell he doesn't believe in what he's saying, and it's so sad to watch. I'm not sure how much more of this video we're going to watch. This video is already 12 minutes long. I know people nowadays don't have the longest attention spans, so the shorter videos usually do a bit better on YouTube. But I don't know. We'll keep it running just for the sake of covering this all. Even if this video doesn't get many views, I think this is probably one of my best videos because this is like a true, like I'm speaking, I'm being real in this video, honestly. And this is what I see in Justin Trudeau. And again, I don't want to spread any hate. I wish the best for this guy. Okay, I don't have hate in my heart for anybody, even people that I disagree with politically. Because, yeah, at the end of the day, we're all just people. And Justin Trudeau is power hungry. He's driven by a lot of external selfish motives, which I disagree with. But I still wish the best for him.
Social supports and a counter to some of the problems that might come up.
He starts with the discourse marker well, which foreshadows modification, modifying the question so that he feels comfortable answering it. Needless to say, politicians do this all the time, but the worst part is that the interviewers who are on their side let them get away with it. For the first 6 seconds he stalls, paraphrasing the interviewer's question needlessly, thus concealing that he doesn't have an immediate answer.
Well, when we talk about putting a gender lens on issues, where you actually think about the gender implications of it.
Well, not needlessly in his view, because it buys him more time to come up with something. But what is it that he comes up with? His hypothetical example falls flat because it isn't gender specific. All people could be able to build this social support he talks about, and of their own accord too. They don't need Trudeau to decide for them. Also, using his logic, or lack thereof, the example falls flat, because if Trudeau's numbers ideology were the standard in the town, you could have people who would be more than willing to participate in this social support, but wouldn't be allowed to because of their innate characteristics. So over and over again, he keeps implying, at the very least, that control matters more to him than people's free will, how people choose to organize themselves. It's interesting that he identifies construction workers as mostly male, without considering the obvious.
I'm going to stop the video just about here. If anybody wants to go seek this out on their own and watch it, in Martin Decoder, and now he's starting to play some music that's probably copyright. But I don't know, maybe I could possibly make a part 2 of this video, because I think this is a pretty good deep dive into the psychology of politicians, and specifically Justin Trudeau. And again, I said I see this in Polyev too. This kind of like front, this nice guy front kind of that he puts on. For the record, I do believe that Pierre Poilievre would be better than Justin Trudeau. And I like the guy, but I guess every single politician has it to some degree. Every single YouTuber, every single famous person, every single politician has this fake front that they put on to try to make people like them. I mean, that's just facts. That's so true. And yeah, I admit that for myself to some degree as well. And again, right now, this is me. I'm just talking. This is me. Like, I'm not putting on this fake front right now. This is me. And I think this is a good video. So hopefully this gets spread around YouTube, Facebook. My second to last Facebook video got over 300,000 views, which is just mind-blowing to me. So yeah, if you're watching this on Facebook, please go to my page and click the follow button. We're semi close to 10,000 followers on Facebook, which is awesome. Of course, YouTube, please subscribe over there. Leave a comment what you thought about this video. Justin Trudeau, and all politicians for that matter, are wearing a mask. That's the takeaway from this video. Thank you for watching. Take care, everybody, and I will see you in the next one.